And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our final main topic tonight, which is why is it that the scientific community has rejected most, if not all, of the paranormal evidence that has been presented towards them? Very interesting topic. We've talked about this before. Why is it that they've kind of rejected some of this? For a skeptic, it's really hard to convince them. For me, I've seen a lot of so-called paranormal evidence online, and even me as a believer, I'm very hard to believe in some of the things that you see, especially online nowadays. A lot of things can be faked. And for a scientist, they always believe that the human senses are some of the worst things that you could use as an instrument. People seeing things, hearing things, and personal testimonies do not stand up with science. They do in the court of law, but not with science. So even simple video evidence of a UFO flying over a city would not be considered anything towards the scientific community, because that could be something that's faked, or people have a mass hysteria of not actually seeing that thing, or there's some other logical explanation. There has to be a scientist there that can study it and test it in order to actually believe it. So why do you think, Jeff, that the scientific community has sort of rejected a lot of the evidence that has been put forward?
I think there's a lot of reasons behind that. One of the main ones being the people that are in, and here I'm going to go and get a bunch of paranormal people pissed off at me again.
Go ahead.
One of it is
one bridge burned after another.
Yeah, let's just keep burning them. It's the people in the field. It's the people. The biggest one is the people in the paranormal field. It's safe to say a lot of people do go out there looking for ghosts, looking for evidence, and the methods are questionable. Mm-hmm. Would they get stuff? The environments and where they find these things, the control over that environment, and the recordings that they're taking and the readings that they're taking, the statistics to which they hold it up to, and how many locations does this happen, and what do these areas have in common environmentally, and all these other factors and such. But the people in the field, and then the people that are out there, because it's a field where it's not like being a plumber, you know what I mean, where I get in here, hey, I want to fix some toilets, I'm going to become a plumber. You know what I mean? It's the kind of place where a lot of people get into and say, I want to do this because I want to make it famous. I want to get on TV, and I want to be like Zach Bagans and get all these people to like me.
Not everyone can be Zach Bagans. He's too cool.
That's true. That is true. But people don't realize that. They have high aspirations of fame and fortune, and it leads to them jumping at shadows and hyping things up.
What was that? Something touched me.
Yeah. And then...
That was really good.
We should look, too bad you can put a little musical thing in there. But and then you have the people that are so eager, they're reaching for things that aren't evidence, and you take a piece of audio and you tweak it enough and amplify this sound enough, a background sound of a dog barking or something like that, it's going to sound like a voice, and they do stuff like that. Yeah. And then you got the people that just flat out fake it, because they're looking for that notoriety. And honestly, that's the way to make it. If you're, people that are looking to become big in the paranormal field, you look at these people that, like Omar Gosh, he's got a lot of viewers on there. You know what I mean? And don't stop watching because I said I don't like Omar Gosh. I like the guy. I'm sure I would like him. I never talked to him, but I watched his video of Crawford Road because it's in our area, and it's a lot of that stuff where there's the jumping and the music and what was that? Camera jerking around and stuff like that. People like that. They like to be scared. So it makes way for those kinds of paranormal investigators. So the people in the field, I think, is a big factor. What would you say about that?
Well, in regards to Omar Gosh, I'm actually going to do a reaction video to the Crawford Road. I haven't seen the video yet. I have not seen it to its fullest extent. But I've heard stories about how inaccurate the investigation was. So, as an investigator that's investigated Crawford Road for more than 10 years now, and has, known the history of that place, to see someone that has those techniques where they constantly jump, something touched me, or, making it a theatrical experience instead of actually going out there to find evidence of the paranormal, that really pisses me off. And so I can't wait to watch that video, and I'll put it up here for my reaction. I'll burn a whole bunch of bridges, I assume, with that community, but that's something I want to
do. You're done after that one.
But I mean, I watched, I won't say which group because I would like to work with them at some point, but I saw they did a video where in the middle of it, they go walking through a door, and then it pops up on the screen, possible spirit voice, and you listen to it, it's the door creaking as it opens, and they're like, it's a female voice. It's like, come on, man. Right. Like, you'll get the people that believe that every single speck of dust on a doorway or something that looks like a face on paint thinks it's a ghost. Sure, you'll get them, you'll get those clicks for that. But you lose credibility if you put that out there and say, look, here's the evidence. And all it takes is something like that, something that is easily debunkable, for a skeptic to go, okay, I will never watch this again because you throw out BS evidence to us and say that this is proof of the paranormal. And when you say that, hey, this place is haunted, or, here is my paranormal experience with it, you better back that up. An extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence. And to have something that is not extraordinary, to be able to back that up, it's just ridiculous. And it really ticks me off to see these people that are making it big on YouTube and this, and the stuff that they're putting out there is... I'm trying not to cuss. Yeah. But it just makes me mad. It really does, because it puts a bad name to the paranormal community, and I'm sick of it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that reaction video to Omar Gosh, and just see what happens. I'll see how he does it. Because I've never seen any of his videos before, so I'm not going to make any predetermined notions about him or how he investigates. But from what I've heard, he does Crawford Road a disgrace. So I'll be interested to see what happens.
Yeah. And well, I guess I shouldn't go on to any more of his videos, but also with the scientific community.
No, keep saying Omar Gosh, because then the YouTube algorithm picks that up and it's like, fans of Omar Gosh would love Nightmare Narrative or Virginia Paranormal. Let's send his 2 million subscribers over to our channels.
Yeah, let's do it. We went to Crybaby Bridge in Smyrna, Delaware. All right.
Jeez.
And I'm from Delaware. I've heard the legends of Crybaby Bridge, and we knew where it was. Omar Gosh went to Crybaby Bridge in Delaware, and it wasn't the same bridge. So everyone started coming on our channel like, you guys went to the wrong bridge. You don't even know where you're going. Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. Wow. No, Omar Gosh went to the wrong bridge, and we started getting flack for it because we went to the right bridge. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. But so the scientific community, I think, though, another thing is you consider the types of evidence, right? What would you have to say this is solid evidence of a spirit? And as being paranormal investigators, even with your level of credibility, we could be doing an EVP session where it's just you and me sitting in a room, and we pick up a girl's voice screaming, "Help me," and be like, "Look, this house was in the middle of the woods, right? There's a camera on in every room of that house, so you can see there's no one else there. There's no one outside of the house because we have cameras out there monitoring the woods just to go all out here, right?" And you hear this woman screaming like she's right there in the room with us, louder than us. What do you have? You got a woman screaming. Like, the scientific community isn't going to say, oh, yeah, that's definitely a ghost. They're going to say, no, you got a voice. But where did that voice come from? Ghost is the least likely. Until we can prove where that voice came from, you don't have a ghost. You just got a voice. You know what I mean? And then you get the case where, okay, well, we pick up this shadow figure going by the camera right there, They're going to look at it and say, you got a shadow. Prove that it's a ghost. And it's going to be so hard unless they came up with a method that they believed was tried and true to prove that there are ghosts. And this is a method that they would never come up with because they would have to have a ghost to be able to determine how to detect this ghost. Well,
when you do the scientific method, you and I, Jeff, we would go to a location, we would conduct the experiment. You and I would go into a house. There would be no noise interference around us, no radio waves, no electricity, no nothing. There's absolutely no way that outside interference would affect our electronics. Correct. So you and I are in there, we're doing our investigation. We happen to get responses, intelligent responses, where we have done follow-up questions, confirming questions to find out what kind of spirit it is. It's interacting in an intelligent way. We have the REM pod going off. We have the spirit box answering intelligent questions. We have the voice recorder getting a voice. Say, for instance, just you and I, the voice recorder getting a voice of a female when clearly neither one of us are female and there was no other female with us. So that would be us. In order to continue that experiment, you would have to have other scientists confirm that it would have to be experimentable. So you would have to have another group go out, do the exact same investigation that you did, and get the exact same results. There has to be corresponding results between different investigators getting the same result in order for the scientific community to accept that and to then start to believe that as evidence. You would have to get very similar, if not the exact same results. But what happens is we'll go to these places, like say, for instance, all right, let's burn some more bridges, Cabin on 360. You go out to that place, you've had tons of investigators go out there, but there's competing evidence. You know, sometimes there's a male spirit, there's a female spirit, there's a child, this person died. You know, here's this response. And if you compile all the stories together, it does not add up. And because of that, you don't have different investigators getting the exact same experimental results as the original experimenters. So therefore, your scientific method has a fault. It's immediately thrown out by the scientific community.
Right. And the thing is with that, for one, the ghost is the variable.
Yeah.
Right? It's the variable. It's not going to be in the same place all the time. It may even be a passing spirit that's only there for a moment. You never know. Different theories, of course. But also, talking about the scientific community, they would still, I mean, I could still see them taking this. If you got that same voice every time, they'd still look at it and say, why would we say this is a ghost? You know what I mean? Just because there's no one with you. I know to us it seems logical. Like, well, obviously a ghost is talking to us. You know what I mean? But if they're not accepting that ghosts exist, they're not going to accept that this voice is coming from a ghost. You know, even if they can't explain where else it came from. Like, there's a lot of things that science can't explain, but they'll just say, oh, we can't explain that. They're not going to say it's a ghost. They would have to have a physical ghost in a laboratory that they could look at, talk to, interact with to be able to say ghosts do exist. Kind of like any other paranormal creature, like Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They'd have to have a living, breathing Bigfoot brought to a lab.
I think a deceased Bigfoot would do well as well. Having the body of a Bigfoot where it can be tested, they can check the DNA, see that it's a different species that is not recorded in their books. And if they find that, then they're able to approve it. It's a similar instance with the giant squid. The giant squid was thought to have been a myth until we were able to find both dead specimens as well as living specimens. Now we have come to the conclusion that there are giant squids in the world, and there's possibly bigger ones than we've ever seen. So the story of the Kraken or an octopus basically destroying a whole ship is possible now. And so we just haven't found like dragons or Bigfoot or some of these other cryptids that we've heard about, Chupacabra. We haven't found those yet. But when we do, if you find the dead body or the living body and you're able to make it captive, then the scientific community would be accepting of it. But you can't capture a ghost. It's not Ghostbusters. You can't just suck it in a vacuum and then take it to a lab and experiment on it.
Right.
Ghosts don't get confined into a space. There's no spell. There's nothing that binds it into a small little thing. It's not 13 ghosts where you put them all in a glass house and you get to go in and look at them. Ghosts aren't animals in a petting zoo. They're living, not living, but they're people that are wandering around this plane of existence that come in and out at their own will.
Right. You could find the dead body of a ghost, but that's not going to prove anything except for you got a dead guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which you can go, never mind. You can find those in a lot of places. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But they could. One thing science could do if they ever wanted to pursue it, and what our best thing to do is, because I've given up on trying to, I'm not trying to prove anything. We're just, at this point, we're just taking the calls of people and going out and seeing if we can help them determine what's going on. So we might switch it up with what we use different times and stuff. But to make it scientific, having the only variable be the ghost. If you got two variables, you got a lot. So this means going back to the same location, the same circumstances, the same everything. You know what I mean? The same atmosphere time and time again, asking the same questions, using the same instruments, and doing that over and over again is really the only way. Because as long as you got that variable of the ghosts, you got too many other variables.
Right. Yeah. Now, as the April Fool's joke, we should definitely do like our own Omar Gosh video.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good time.
Yeah.
We'll do it out at Crawford Road. We'll go up on the bridge and everything, which is illegal. He did that though. Like the one time the cops don't come. You know what I mean? Like Crawford Road is the kind of place where you pull up to and get out of the car, and next thing you know, a cop is coming saying, "Hey, you can't be here," even though it's a road. It's really a road. There's no reason. I mean, I think they're doing it for your safety, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the actual top of the bridge is Battlefield Tour Road. That's federal land up there. That's the National Park Service.
Felony.
This dude's up there
Felony
walking
trespassing.
around. Millions of people liking the video, and he's up there on federal land trespassing. So.
But we go out there, just the three of us, and fine.
Soon as we pull over on the side of the road, we're chased.
No stopping on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we get. Oh my gosh, though. No, nothing.